Hi, Diane.
Hello.
Hi, Connie. Hi, John, Michael.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good.
Hi, Miranda. Need one more member. Hi, John.
Hey, how are you?
I hear you.
Miranda, hi. When I got that email from the town, who was it? The treasurer? I don't know.
Yeah, she's the treasurer.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to pass the buck to you. I just thought, I didn't know if it was appropriate, if I should be asking him for like insurance information.
Yeah, no, I think she was confused because she thought she thought, she didn't exactly know who you were, and she thought you were someone from his company.
Oh, I see.
So-
I see. Okay, okay.
So yeah, she was
Okay.
confused. But it's taken care of.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Hi, Kate.
Good to go?
Kate, a full member?
I think she is.
And I never remember Julia's who's our other alternate? Julia and Kate, are you a full?
Sorry, what?
Are you a full member or an alternate?
I believe I'm a full.
Okay. I can never remember who the alternates are.
I know I'm an alternate.
You are?
Yes.
Oh, so it's
Okay.
Diane. and- I think Julia is too, so. We do need to wait for one more person. I know Blythe said she wasn't gonna make it.
And Julia, I don't think Julia's gonna make it either. Did we already?
Yep. Abigail, do you know?
She did not tell me she wasn't going to make it.
Can we elevate the alternates? Is that possible or not?
Yeah, that's what we do.
Gonna run
So
pen.
we'll call the meeting to order at 7:05 and start with the elevation of alternates. Can I have a motion, please? Miranda, you got minutes?
So moved.
Second, please.
Second,
All those in favor, say aye.
I,
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Right. Acceptance of the agenda.
is it too late to add one item in there?
It is not. What would you like to add?
On line 8C, we're going to create 8C. It's steep grants funded by the state of Connecticut for small towns economic assistance program. It's called the steep grants.
Okay, what is it? Steep?
Steep grants, small town economic assistance programs. It's something we've been going with for the last 5 years, trying to get it. And all these towns, I remember last
Hang
November.
on, we'll talk about it down there.
Okay, no problem.
That's
I'm sorry.
all right.
And
Don't
then,
wind me up. Don't wind me up.
so one thing, I don't know if, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to add something, but when you touched on needing to look at the director and the counselor job descriptions before I post.
Yep.
So can we,
We,
that would be
we can talk about that under,
just generally under after school program?
yeah,
And I can, if we have to, and the other thing is, if we don't have to approve the steep grants under line 8C, we can also add it to the Parks Master Plan if you want to. However you guys want to do it, fine.
I think it's kind of new information, although it does go together. I think we can keep it down there.
Okay. no
I don't
problem.
know. We'll see how it comes out.
Okay.
All right, so acceptance of the agenda as amended, please. A motion.
So moved.
Second,
Second?
second,
Kate,
I'm sorry,
those
who
in
was the
favor?
second?
Kate, All those in favor say aye.
I,
Opposed? Thank you. Acceptance of the minutes of June 8th. I will just add in here that the May 17th and June 2nd meeting minutes have not been submitted yet. So we are just working on the minutes of June 8th special meeting. And at our next meeting, we will accept the minutes of those other two meetings. So I need a motion for that, please.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
second.
keep beating them,
Don't
Kate.
all- don't all jump at one time.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I,
Opposed? Okay, thank you. Correspondence. Miranda, we did have one.
Oh, is that, you're talking about Lyrian? Okay.
We had a parent,
Yeah,
yeah.
I just don't know what,
So
in the world of email now, I don't know what constitutes an official,
a parent reached out and was concerned about us closing the park. But, and she started a petition to have to have Emery Park opened up. And the petition was more, I believe she wanted to gauge support and bring it to us and say there is support. I don't know where she is with it. Some of the information she had was incorrect, so Miranda sent her back an email and basically just said, you know, some of your information is incorrect, and we corrected it saying that Camp Kent has been canceled for the year, but we are working diligently to get the pool open. And she wrote back and said that that was fine, thank you, she would change it. So again, I don't know where the petition stands. It doesn't really have to do with us, but I just wanted to say it because it was a letter of correspondence from a parent to Park and Rec.
Also was on YouTube,
yeah,
right?
I think it's still out there. She did change
Mhm.
what we asked, or she changed it, so it is more correct. But I think it's still out there. She wanted to publish it to the school community, but we didn't, as it was. We wanted, we weren't really comfortable with that, so.
It's not a sanctioned or approved by us, nor do we need to. It's a person of the public who's doing this, so the petition itself, while it's about the park, again, isn't, so, we don't have anything to do with it. It's just a parent who is, like she said, gauging support for the pool. But then she learned that the pool is not being closed, so I don't know. Just wanted you all to be aware of it if you see it. Public and invited guests. Connie, are you here for the concert series? You're on silent.
Sorry, I have to unmute in 2 locations. Yeah, so I will hold my comments until that agenda item,
Okay, thank
if
you.
that's what you.
So start with the Park and Rec Director search and the job description that was attached. That's one of the attachments. I think we put this on there so that we can start going over this, or make sure that you guys all can see it, and we need to start working on changes, how we want to upgrade this and stuff.
Yeah, the last one was not in the year 2015. Yep.
Mhm.
Okay.
I think the job description is just too detailed. There's things that just are kind of obvious and don't need to be in there. Maybe
Yep.
some things need to be changed, like I think there's maybe something in here about getting the the agenda out 7 days before the meeting, because it's got to, when it was being mailed, but now we don't have that. But that might be in the other things. I can't remember now.
Do you want to get a subcommittee to review this, or just want to let it go for now?
Well, the selectmen also wanted us to clean it up, so I don't know if we do it all together or in a subcommittee. That's the only thing I'm questioning.
We think the subcommittee will to bring it together and then present it to us. And then present it to the selectmen.
Anybody else have an opinion on that?
I don't really, but I was noticing that I don't know if it would be beneficial to look at the bylaws and constitution at the same time as you're doing that. Just because I noticed some things in the job description that kind of they didn't quite match up with the bylaws and constitution. And I'm not going to be able to think of what I'm
That's fine. Don't worry.
reading at the moment, but it may be good to look at them at the same time.
We can do that.
Maybe with that, I was going to talk about disbanding the current subcommittee and making one for the Park and Rec for the full-time director, which I would advocate to the selectmen to include 5 people, which was originally what the subcommittee was going to be, and then they changed it down to 3 people. So I would advocate for 5 people. I would speak with your permission on behalf of the Park and Rec to ask that that happen. I'm not sure when the next meeting is, when I can get on the agenda. But that's an idea. We
Mhm.
could, if you wanted to do a subcommittee, once we make up that subcommittee, they could take on the job description, comparing it to the bylaws and the Constitution, and then come up with some changes or whatever needs to be done to get them both in line, to get them both updated, or all 3 of them actually in line and updated.
Sounds good.
Anyone else have an opinion? You want to make a motion to that effect?
Yeah, I think we should keep the what's currently there maybe as something you can give the person that eventually takes the job, because I think that detail is good, but it should be summarized better for the purpose of a job description.
Right. So do you guys want to keep the 3-person committee and task them with, starting this process? Or do you want to disband the current committee and form a new one? Anyone?
Who's on it? Who's on the committee now?
Julia, John, and Ed Mattson.
Okay. John, I know, and Ed are probably good people to be on it because they've been around a long time. I'm happy to help, but I'm one of the people who has been here the shortest time, and as far as what Leslie did, I'm probably the person that knows the least.
Plus you got a new job.
But I'm happy to help if
The original 5-person subcommittee was going to be Ed Mattson, because he's the Park and Rec
which
ex
would make
officio
sense.
member of the
Yeah.
Selectmen's Board. It
Yeah.
was going to be 3 commission members and an at-large person. So what do you guys want to do with that?
I like keeping that committee and expanding.
Well, if we make it into a 5-person, I believe we would have to disband that one through the Board of Selectmen, and then have them come up with another one, although in reading our bylaws, doesn't say we have to do that. So we can make up our own subcommittees. But I still, at this point, I guess we should talk to them, to the selectmen. Either way, I just need to go to them and tell them, you know, how we're gonna proceed.
I guess my thinking is that since they've already done some work that's gonna be relevant, that we should keep those same members involved.
So we could still do that. They would just
Mhm.
join the new subcommittee.
Okay,
Anyone else? So Michael, would you like to, someone want to make a motion? To disband the current subcommittee and form a subcommittee for the director search?
sure. Motion to disband the current interim director search committee and form a full-time director search committee.
There's a second for that?
Second,
All those in favor say aye, please.
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Anything else on that one? Anybody have anything? So that kind of works into the bylaws and constitution, which we touched on briefly. There are some things in there that definitely need to be updated as far as, again, like the, 7-day mailing of the agenda and I can't remember at this time, but there's definitely some things that need to be updated. If there's anything, if anybody wants to look through that and, make their own notes so that when it comes to the board again, we know what we want to change and can talk about that. So we'll put that on the agenda for next month. If everyone could make sure you read them and know any questions or changes that you think might be relevant. Any questions on bylaws or constitution? All right. Parks project pool opening. I talked to David Schreiber today. He has employees. He wants us, we kind of did this last month. But if we were to open the pool, what hours are we gonna open it? So like serious talking, his employees are ready to come to work for the town to, and like I said, be our employees. So we just got to tell him when we want to do it. Billy still has a little bit to do. I don't know that he's gotten up there yet. He has not told me that he has to finish the last 10% of it so we can start filling the pool. Guess we're kind of waiting for him. But we are ready as soon as we are ready, the lifeguards will be ready.
FYI, the pool doesn't warm up until after 12 o'clock.
So we could do like a 12 to 6.
Yeah.
Monday through Sunday.
Yeah.
We could do a 12 to 5. We could do a 2 to, well, 8 is too late, but and we also have to repair those fences before we allow
Yeah.
people in there.
He just got back from the guy that we approved for that. He just got back from vacation, so he should be able to start probably calling you back on Tuesday.
And just to clarify, the pool is only open if there's a lifeguard on duty, correct?
Yeah. And if it's only one lifeguard, he'd have to get everybody, I'm learning these rules, so don't take it 100%, but from what I understand, if there's only one lifeguard, it's that 15-minute rule where they can sit in each chair and then they have to take a 15-minute break. So everybody would have to come out of the pool while they're taking the break for every 45 minutes or whatever, every half hour. But
Did David say his people are pretty available, like Monday through Friday, or do they have limited availability?
so they are gonna be running, works into the next one. They're gonna be running the lifeguard instructor class soon. He was supposed to call me back at 6:30 after he talked to his guy, but he didn't get there. He didn't call me back. They're running a lifeguard instructor class. And some of his people are also gonna be getting that instruction, so that he'll have even more lifeguards. And with their schedules and timing, we should be able to work it out. Like I said, that's why he wants to know what hours we want.
Guess
Yes,
I'd
so
say let's
helpful.
ask for a lot of hours then. Might as well ask for a lot. And then if they can't do it, do you know what I mean?
And John made a point of, the pool doesn't get warm, but I don't think people really come out before lunchtime.
No,
to go
no,
in
I
there.
agree. I agree. Yeah, no. But I think the noon to 6, 7 days a week sounds like a great plan. And then, but I don't know that we announce that until we've got confirmation that we've got the lifeguards available, right?
Exactly, yep. Not quite yet. The pool's not ready yet, but we're working
Yeah.
on it.
But we can ask for those hours of the lifeguards and see if we can get it.
Yep.
Can I just ask one question to Amanda? Amanda? Do you still have that the EMDs in Leslie's office?
I'm sorry, the what?
The EMD?
EMD?
Yeah, it's the resuscitator. It should be in the office somewhere.
I haven't seen it and they moved me out of that office, so I can look around.
When did they move you out of the office?
Oh, like a week or
First
two.
started.
Yeah,
Where's your office now?
I'm down where the treasurer used to, one of the registrars.
And that's okay.
So it works
I'm-
out much better. It's well, I don't know. Haven't been in there, but the idea was that room is much bigger. Not all stuffed in. I think there was a few office changes made.
Yeah, I think, they're just having trouble fitting people. So. Yeah, so I don't know. I could look around to see and ask around.
Yeah, 'cause
Would
it
that
goes in-
still be in the shed, John, at the
Yeah,
park?
it goes right in the shed, and it's a unit that
But would
that
it
would-
be there now?
no, she would have taken it out
Okay.
and she would have left it in the office. She usually leaves things in the office there, so.
All right. Anything about park projects?
Ed was supposed to be working on those for me. I don't know what he's done so far. I know that there was some stone dropped off, right, Diane? The stone dropped off?
Yeah, the stone was dropped off which is great, but not to be negative, but already there's erosion of the stone because of the drainage.
Yeah, I know. It's always,
The drainage issue, but the stone it helped a lot. Especially that little path from the parking lot to the tennis courts. But the
Yeah.
other thing, John, you did so much in that park. And I'm not sure who is maintaining the memory garden there, but it's really overgrown with weeds.
that's, we take care of that.
Yeah, and the commission
Yeah.
members?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm away next week, but when I get back, I'm gonna try to do some work on that, and maybe get my son.
Sure.
I don't know if we can get maybe I can make a plea on the community page. If, one day, I'll say I'm gonna be in the Commons on Sunday, if anybody wants to come out from the community and help me. And
There's a garden club too in town. I can't remember who's in charge of it.
Isn't Diane Lang in that?
Who?
Diane Lang, she a part of that?
Maybe Connie would know too. I'm not sure, but.
yeah, I'm not great about knowing what is a plant and what is a weed too, unfortunately. But I'll figure it out.
I'll try to get over there too.
Yeah, well,
Anyway.
yeah, I'll probably second week in July, I'll try to do it.
Did he do any weeding? Did he do any spraying with the vinegar
There's still weeds there.
on the pathway?
Yeah, I don't know that he did it again. I think you said you thought he did it once.
All right. That's all we have to report.
Okay. Then we'll move on. Lifeguard instructor class, basically, what I said was, they're gonna be holding the class. He said sometime next week, but I'm asking for a little bit more time so that we can get some advertising out quickly. So as soon as I know about that, I will, have Miranda write something up and we can get that out through. I think at this point with that, is school still in session? No, school's
No
done.
school's out.
Maybe we can still have it sent out through the school, but put it on the local social media pages.
So, but
Starting
this is being held at Club Getaway, correct?
a club getaway, yep.
Okay. Yeah, I can do a flyer for it. That's not a
And
problem.
it'll be evening. Just hold off until I get the official word from David when it's gonna be.
Uh-huh.
And
You can also put it on that Connecticut Public Parks and Recreation Association too.
yeah,
They're always looking for people,
looking for people.
lifeguards.
Well, this is for people to take the lifeguard class.
Yeah, but if they get the word out, I mean, they can just,
Okay. Yeah, we'll keep it kind of local.
okay.
Well, if we can't get enough people, then we'll spread our wings farther. Okay, tennis clinic, Michael.
Thank you. So we got the flyer out to the school. It was, I believe, put in the Friday newsletter 2 weeks ago now, or Friday before last. We can probably expand the marketing of it now. So I think the Facebook would be a great place for it. I think flyers at the tennis court would also be a good idea.
Michael, I'm gonna just jump in. I put
Yep.
it on the Facebook page.
Great.
It
Okay.
took me a while I was having trouble with Facebook, but I got in, I put it up and I think we've got 4 signed up for each day
Oh,
just
great.
today. So,
Awesome.
so that's up. I also put it on our website, but I probably need to move it to the front page because it didn't seem like I got many people looking at the website. So,
Hey, Lynn, sorry to interrupt. Did you see that Abigail's waiting to be let in?
Oh, shoot, thank you.
And Miranda, you were gonna buy the balls off the Amazon link, or did we? Is that still
yes.
okay?
Yeah, so I was just kind of waiting to get our first couple,
Yeah, understood.
but I will do that. Hopefully I can do that tomorrow because once we get to that, I'm going to be gone for a couple days this week. So I'm hoping to do it tomorrow.
Great. And if you just want to, I noticed that a couple times I was on there, depending on what quantity you buy the balls in, they might have different shipping times.
Okay.
So just something to pay attention to. And if it does show that, oh, they can't arrive by the clinic date, just let me know and we'll just find another place to buy them.
Okay.
But I guess, yeah, I don't have much else to add. Julia's committed to being an instructor, and we talked to USTA New England about it, and that kind of leads into that later agenda item about a more formal tennis program going forward. So I guess I'll save any discussion for that.
Okay. Good job. Miranda, I would just, before I forget this, when you put something up on Park and Rec Facebook page, which I was thrilled to see that today, good job. Could you also at the same time share it to the Kent Community Facebook page.
Sure, yeah.
And then hopefully that'll lead people back to our page more and get more members on our page.
Mhm.
Should we put out a sign saying that courts will be used between the hours of 5 and 6? Is that what it is?
Thank you,
Probably
John.
wouldn't be a
That's
bad idea.
a great idea.
4 and 5, yeah.
Yeah. And the dates, yeah, of course. All right.
Would it
Uh,
be, is it allowed to put any sort of flyers at the IGA?
You can put, yeah, they take like nonprofit stuff, and actually, I think they take anything there. The library is more of a nonprofit board.
They don't have a
If
place for,
possible.
they don't have
maybe
a
we
place
can-
for flyers anymore. They just have a bulletin board.
So John,
the
is it-
Ice cream
can
freezer?
we-
Sorry?
At the ice cream freezer?
Yeah, it's by that section there. There's a wall as you're leaving the
Yeah.
door going out. There's a big wall there and it's got a cork board on it and it tells you all the events that are going on.
Yeah,
I
so-
don't think people look at it, but
Doesn't hurt.
There's one in
No,
the
it
gas
doesn't.
station and there's one in Ken Coffee also. There's one in Giffords. I just did this for the Lions Club, so I don't know if anybody feels
great.
like actually walking around doing that.
Well, most people go to the market.
Yeah, most
least.
people go to.
So
The flyer
I
looked
don't know.
great, by the way, for the tennis.
don't forget to try the mobile station too in town here. They're very good. They're willing to put out flyers as well.
Yeah, they're very helpful.
Yeah, they are. So, yeah.
So Diane,
Um,
what, Miranda, would you be available to hang up the signs, or should that be something we do?
Well, I certainly can. I'm going to be, so tomorrow I'm gonna be working and then I'm gonna be gone for the next few days on vacation. So if we want it done this week, someone else might need to do it, but if it can wait till Monday, then I can do it.
I'm leaving to go to California tomorrow for till next Tuesday.
Diane, do you mind putting together like a hit list of the places that are worth hanging flyers, since you just did it for Lions?
No,
And
not
then
at all. It was just a handful, but
maybe-
I'll write, yes, for sure, yeah, you can do that.
And then if anybody's available this week to do it, maybe someone can do it. I guess we have to print it out though. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, I don't know if this is legal or not, but I actually just took shipping tape and I also put one, when we did the Lions thing, I just put it right on the telephone pole in town, one on either side. And then as soon as the thing was over, I just went and took it down. And no one said anything, so.
Are we, is town hall open for people to
It-
walk into?
It is open.
So Miranda, would it be possible for you to print out a few flyers for the tennis clinic? And I guess if we're doing this, maybe any other programs that we're offering this summer? And if someone's able to get to hanging them before you return, maybe you can leave them somewhere in town hall so we could pick them up. Otherwise,
Sure.
maybe it's something you could do next week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
No, I do feel like also that's helpful to do that, but I do feel like the community page is, I think, I feel like there's a lot of people on there.
Mhm.
It seems like there's a lot of interaction between community members there and everyone.
Yeah, and I was hoping, Jean's been out of the office for a while. I was hoping that she does like a email update blast kind of thing, but I was hoping to put some of the stuff in too,
Oh, yeah, that would be great.
to
Yep.
reach the people that aren't necessarily on Facebook. So I thought that would be good, but when I can connect with her, I can.
That's a
can
great
ask.
idea. I get that and I skim through it every time I get, I think it once a month. Is it once a week or once a month? Once a
I
month?
thought she was doing it once a week, but
It
like
is
I
once a
said, she has not been in for a little bit, so.
Okay.
Yeah. think it's turned more into once a month, but I guess I'm just on the same page as Miranda for those who are not on Facebook. If
Right.
there's just another way of reaching the community, and Jean's email is awesome. And we don't have to like get crazy. We could maybe just do 2 or 3 places in town. It might just help those who are not on the email or on Facebook.
Certain, yeah, for sure. If it doesn't get done by next week, I'm happy to do it on Wednesday next week when I get back.
Oh, no, I mean, I certainly can do it on Monday if it doesn't get done this week.
Awesome.
If you just want 3 places, I would suggest the IGA, the library, and Patco or Kent Mobile,
Sounds like a great list.
easiest places. But you can also put one in the Pizza Garden.
Yeah, there's a bulletin board there. I think I put one, but those are the, probably Kent Coffee. There's regulars that go in there, and then the mobile
Right.
station for sure. And then IGA, those are the big ones. Giffords is happy to put one up.
Onto summer baseball. I put
I
this
think I
on
put one in
there.
the laundromat too, now that I think about it. I think I did. I know I went in there. I can't remember if there was a bulletin board in there. That's how I have brain fog.
There always used to be.
Yeah, then I must have put one up there.
I'll start with that. Miranda's gonna get some printed out. You're gonna have those, you're gonna print them out and leave them somewhere tomorrow.
Yep.
Where are we at? Summer baseball. I just,
Sorry, Lynn, just, Miranda, when those are printed out, you're just gonna let us know, like, could you just send us an email? Because I could possibly put those up.
Yeah, I'll send you all an email and let you know where I've left them.
Okay, that way we all aren't.
Yeah,
you can always,
I'll have to think about that a little bit. You could probably just leave them in the upstairs Joyce's office.
Yeah,
put
just
them
just
on
let
your
us
door
know.
or outside your door.
One thing I wanted to say about the physical flyers is since that link is a little long, I could add either like a QR code or we could add something saying, link on the Park and Rec website. Just wanted to quickly mention that if we're trying to print those out.
Yeah, no,
I just
that's
was
a
looking at
great
that.
idea. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the long link.
Little tags with the link written on. 'em.
Michael, you didn't get any response from the Kent Central School flyer that went home?
No, it went in there.
Yeah, but no one responded.
No, it didn't seem like, well, you know what, actually,
Surprised.
we did get 2, we did get 1 registration
I don't need to spoon. Sorry.
from that.
Yeah, you never know if those flyers made it to the parents or not. Maybe, who knows, they could be at the bottom of backpacks, but you can only do so much.
Did you send out physical flyers?
No, this was just,
Oh.
this is something that went out with the, Michelle Mott does like a weekly update.
Yeah, it was an email.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. I thought they were fake flyers that went home with the kids. Okay.
No.
Yeah, that would be a lot of flyers, actually, now that I think about it.
We used to have to do that. Okay, anything else on tennis? Flyers, all good? You can always take one home and just make a couple more copies if you need to. All right, summer baseball. I put this on there because earlier in the year, we had gotten an email from the regional park and rec directors about running a summer baseball. And then I saw something that said that, well, I emailed them back and I never heard back. So then I saw a flyer that said, sign up by May 17th. So I figured it was done, but then you heard they were still looking for more. Is that right, Miranda, Scott?
Yeah, they were, and I, unfortunately, this is kind of one of the things that has kind of fallen through the cracks on my end. With the part-time schedule, I'm doing as much as I can, but that, I didn't get to marketing that as much. but they were looking for a few more people. I'm not sure what the status is now because they really, their numbers were low. And even if they could have gotten a couple more from Kent, I'm not sure it would have been enough to make it feasible for them.
Can you just reach out to them and check one more time and see if it's still ongoing, then we'll put the word out quick and see
Yeah.
see where he's at.
I can, it probably won't happen until Monday, but I can.
Fall soccer, I think there was something in here for that. Okay. So this is something that we normally do. So is everyone into running this soccer program again? That we normally
I
run?
think it's great to have a instructional for young people and not have to do the traveling. So opening it up to more than just kindergarten, I think is a good idea.
Yeah, I thought kindergarten and first, maybe that way, you know, they're kind of similar age groups. They'll probably play pretty well together, and then you're not stepping on the toes of the travel team too much.
Yeah.
You know, you might get a few, because I think the travel team is first.
First and second.
Yeah. So,
That's why there's just a kindergarten program, not a K1.
yeah, but I could see parents, of a young child myself, I would be interested.
I think normally it was the kindergarten program, then a 1 and 2 class, and then a 3 and 4 class, grades 3.
For just the instructional.
Yeah, because the middle school one starts at grade 5, so we were trying to offer. The regional teams are ours or the schools?
No, the regional teams, I got the impression was
Oh, regional,
organized
duh. Oh, sorry, never mind.
through all the direct regional directors.
Park and Rec.
Yeah,
Is it? Okay. That's
So-
what I'm saying. I think that's,
I would think for instructional, having it be for kindergarten first, I don't know, maybe like what is traditionally elementary might even make sense, like kindergarten through 4 or kindergarten through 3, just because traveling for games at that age seems maybe not worth the effort for a parent, but getting some instruction and probably scrimmaging would be great. And it's close to home.
right, so it is, so the kindergarten program is separate from the fall travel. Aren't there rules and stuff about, like this, the fall travel team cannot be on another soccer club? So, and again, the travel team is grades 1 and 2, and then grades 3 and 4. And then 5 and 6. So is the region doing the travel soccer?
so I haven't gotten any emails about that yet. So I don't know. It's on my list to kind of reach out to ask to send to that group of directors to see what the plan is. But I haven't heard yet.
This doesn't start until September, so. we have a
Yeah,
little-
but typically it looks, when I was looking back through, it looks like we were starting to do registration sooner than later. So it is something that, we need to figure out.
if you could see what they're doing back to the meeting, and that will decide it. I don't think there's enough kids unless they're gonna be on both things, which could be difficult if they're even allowed to do that, but to have a travel team and instructional. Just don't have the kids.
Well, but it is regional, so, I don't know.
Is there a tryout type thing, or everybody plays?
I don't know. I'm not that familiar with it, but
I think having something that's a little less of a commitment for kindergarten, first grade, maybe even second grade, rather than a travel team, you might get more participants because it could just be here in Kent.
But you don't want to be,
maybe the under 8, or is that under 8? Yeah, maybe that's instructional, and then they graduate into a travel team. I'm just speaking from my personal perspective as somebody who has a kid this age and knowing what's on my plate in life, and I would never be able to commit to doing a travel team, but I'd love to get my kid involved in some sports that are local.
do you not want to be in the regional group?
I mean, is
Again, I'm
there,
just speaking from a personal perspective, but driving around for it would be prohibitive for us to be able to do. So if it was something that was local, it would be more likely that we would be able to participate in it.
I don't think it has to be, one or the other. Yes, like if you had, we do kindergarten, say we just did kindergarten first or whatever, you might lose a couple first graders from the travel team. But then all the first graders that wanted to do the travel team could still do that. Then maybe they wouldn't be doing the instructional, I don't know. I think it would be, as also as a parent with young kids, I tend to, I see Abigail's point.
You guys are gonna stay living around here, you better get used to driving long ways for school.
I mean, yeah, I think at the very least, it makes sense to try, put it out there for maybe kindergarten and first. But obviously that's a commission's decision, but.
I don't know how many kids are in school anymore, so. Or how many will be on that travel team, or if there's enough left to make an instructional. I would still be sticking with the kindergarten separately and keep the kids as this travel team is, because that's what they're gonna be used to working with each other. The first and second graders, the third and fourth graders.
So then you're saying no to having instructional for first graders?
No, not totally. I just think it should kind of be kept the same, so that there's a separate kindergarten one. And then we do the travel, but if there's enough kids to do an instructional first and second grade, then we do that. If there's enough, or however high you want to go. I'm just talking about keeping it consistent with the travel team or U8, U10, U12. That's what they'll be doing as they get older.
So registering the travel team first, basically, and then seeing what if there's interest in expanding the age group after we register the travel team.
If there's enough interest in an instructional team.
Could we make it optional for the kids that they don't have to go to games? They could just go to practices?
I don't think coaches would like that.
Are you talking about the travel? Because the instructional, it's just, there's no games. The travel team, yeah, I think they would be obligated to go to
Yeah, I just know maybe we could have some sort of combined model, but just a thought.
Yeah.
This is so different. My kids, you know, we were in East Fishkill at the time and the town was so big. The town teams were very important because there were only so many kids that would make the school teams. And then there was travel soccer, which was really competitive. So there was a lot of kids that were left, and there was always numerous teams. There was like the U6 or 7 or 8, and there was numerous, there might be 3 U6 teams and 3 U7 teams. But the town teams were important because you know, not everybody would make it was good enough or would make the travel team or the school team. But I guess it's different here because there's just not as many kids. I mean, are you saying that most kids that want to be on the travel team can be on the travel team and there's no like tryouts for it?
I think I don't see anything about tryouts. I think it's everybody who joins can play. And honestly, you know, I think one reason why this started is because we just don't have enough kids in town to form our own teams.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too, if we do decide to do, you know, to do the other program, like the instructional thing, we have to decide, is it really just an instructional thing or not? Because when my kids went through, they did not do travel soccer and baseball, and we were doing too many other things. But they did, you know, we did tell them, you know, if you're going to commit to being on this team, you have to go to the games. Because the team kind of relied on them, but I don't know if it's going to be completely different here, if it's going to be, you know, not enough kids to even have a team.
So I was confusing myself. Sometimes we make up teams with the whole region. So is this a regional team that travels to other areas, or is this a Kent team that plays Sharon, that plays Falls Village?
No, the impression I get that this is a regional team.
So it's one team for the 6 schools make up one team.
That's the
That's
impression
what you
that I
get out
get.
of it. Okay.
That's probably competitive and there's probably tryouts for it.
Although the letter that Miranda posted in the agenda list, there is nothing that says anything about tryouts. That's why I started questioning, because like I was saying, it's hard to make up a team, never mind having too many and needing to do tryouts. Like, we're just lucky if we can form a team.
Right. Oh yeah, it's so different. It's there's not a lot of kids in this town. That's true.
But it says interested players must register by, again, this is from 2019, but register by July 19th to facilitate league scheduling. Miranda, is this going on this year?
I don't know. I like I said, I haven't heard anything from the group of, you know, regional directors that I'm kind of in contact with. But it's on my list to send an email and kind of ask what's going on, yeah. So I think the next step for this is I need to ask and see what's going on. I don't know why they wouldn't be doing it. So
Yeah,
yeah,
if it's not happening, then a lot of this is for not this conversation, and we
right.
can work on just instructional or our own thing. But yeah, if you could find out if it's actually happening, and that way we can move it along, even if we have to schedule a meeting sooner and just get you know, see what's going on and make a motion for it. Anyone have any other questions on that? All right, so you're gonna reach out to the other rec directors or your group and see where that stands.
I will find out what the status is.
Now do you guys want to wait to decide on the fall kindergarten instructional soccer till we hear if this other regional
Well, we
program
should
is happening?
offer the kindergarten. It's just a matter of if we're adding on to it and doing instructional for first grade or instructional for first and second grade, which I'd like to advocate for because I think it would be great. And all the kindergartners that were kindergarten last year lost out on getting any instructional because it wasn't offered.
Good point.
So it'd be great to try to offer something that's a little less of a huge commitment of traveling at the age of first or second grade and build
Well, I
some
can-
community here in
I can
Kent.
certainly get the kindergarten going, and then we're gonna need volunteer helpers to run the program. So if
We can
anyone
talk
has
about-
any,
About how
what?
we can talk about, you and I can talk about how we normally do that and go over what Leslie does and see if we can come up with a different or better plan for that.
Okay, the other thing. Are we? Because before we did it at 5:15 to 6 PM, and that kind of seems like a weird time to me, but
I think you have to check with the school and see when the fields are available.
right, yeah, but I mean, well, that's the other question. If we're in charge of the fields now and they're our fields, do we have first say if we're maintaining the fields?
I think it's just whether or not the school has athletic programs after school,
Yeah,
because this would have to happen most likely after the school's athletic programs. I would assume. Why, Miranda, why do you think it's a weird time?
Well, it's just, 5:15. I guess the fields are big, it seems like, for just a kindergarten class, even if the school was doing something on the fields. Seems like we could do something after school. That just seems like a better time to me than 5:15.
so you have to see if this fall travel soccer team is gonna happen. If this regional program is gonna happen, we need to know if they're gonna be playing at Kent Center.
Mhm.
And we'd have to work around those. We'd have to work around that. They would have first dibs on the field as a actual game. And then we can work around that. Like, we can't have the kindergartners on the field while the game is going on.
Right, no, I understand that. No, I was just thinking practices more so, but
They
yeah.
may have other programs. The school may have other programs going on. I don't know if they have an in-house intramural soccer. A lot of this is contingent upon if that fall team is gonna happen this year.
Yeah, Michelle Mott said they are doing 5 to 8 program.
That's right. So we have to work around them and their use of the Kent Center School field. And that's probably why that somewhat weird time is in their dinner time for the little kids.
Yeah.
Our
And I would say-
our practice times were always 6 o'clock and later, and I think maybe it has to do with a lot of parents work and then they're home and they can take the kids at that time.
Yep.
But I think we would have a lot of interest in something like that. I think it's kind of like a you build it, they will come type of situation where a lot of parents are probably just going to be looking for things for their kids to do and not necessarily a competitive travel team, just some activity for them.
Yeah, and it's worth noting that the travel teams, their games are on Saturdays, so we don't have to worry too much about a collision with that during the week.
Mhm.
So just, yeah, and maybe, yeah.
Good practice. All right. Did she end? Oh, was she done talking?
I'm done talking.
Okay, it sounded like you got cut off. I didn't.
What I was saying wasn't worth saying, so I stopped myself.
Okay. So do we want to make a motion to get the kindergarten instructional soccer going?
Yeah, I'll make a
Yeah.
motion. Motion to establish instructional kindergarten soccer program in Kent.
Second,
All those in favor?
I,
John's got his hand raised as well. Any opposed? Thank you. Okay, and then Miranda will get back to us about the fall travel. All right, so we'll move on to Parks Master Plan. Anything to report there?
No, I know I missed items A through C or A through D. A lot of, I would think how we move forward with the master plan is contingent on where we go, what happens with the director, what the status is with parks projects and pool opening. And I know that's all tied into the lifeguard, so.
Mhm. All right. 2021 budget monthly report. That was the same one that we did last month because she hadn't gotten anything new, correct?
Correct.
Hopefully by the next meeting, she will have, by the next meeting, our monthly meeting, please request from Barbara, so, because that'll be July and it should give us almost our ending budget numbers.
Yep.
Okay, move on to 5-year capital plan. We may, just a suggestion, get a subcommittee together, because we do have funds sitting in the capital plan that we can use, and we need to come up with some ideas on how we want to use that as far as the playground goes. I think that's playground money.
We'd love to have a master plan to help us inform the usage of both of the parks. And then we can start figuring out how to invest the town's money.
Right now, we know that we need like the new swings, or not new swings, the swings are rotting out. There's things that we can do because that money again is specified for playgrounds, that we can use it for the playgrounds beforehand. But I'd like to get some ideas on how we want to use that money sooner than later. It's been sitting there for a little while. I can reach out to Barbara and get some more details on that, and I'd like to do it sooner than later because the master plan, like you just stated, is until we have this, this, and this done. So that's kind of almost on hold for a little bit. Until we
Yes,
can get
but
our stuff.
To
I'm
be
sorry?
spending the money, the town's money on piecemeal projects, I think I personally would like to have a vision for what we're doing with the two parks, particularly with Emery Park. If we're thinking about passive recreation, there may be something with trails, there may be something with what we do with the field, gardens. There's just a lot of ideas that we could be thinking through for both parks, rather than spending money on fixing swings on a swing set that might not be there or might not get heavy usage, but another piece to the park, adding a piece to the park may bring a different audience, a bigger audience, maybe more used. So I think we're saying the same thing, Lynn. We want ideas for what to do with parks. I guess however we want to, whatever way you want to call it, we're just still trying to find the wisest way to use the town's money to activate the parks.
Yeah, and I agree with you there. I would say that 6 or 7 years ago now, we decided to put money into the capital plan for the playground, specifically at Kent Commons. And that's where the swing set is that is rotting at the bottom. The metal's rotting out. The slide and everything is really old. So I'm not talking about adding to Emery Park right now, but I
Sorry,
am.
Lynn.
Yeah.
Michael's waiting to be let
Oh,
back in.
thank you. Thank you for being my eyes there. I appreciate it.
Sure.
Not used to that part, not used to doing any of this. So like I was saying, 7 years ago or whatever it was, we decided to put money into the capital plan so that we could improve the playgrounds. And now that money is available and needs to be dealt with. And our playgrounds definitely need, especially at Kent Commons, where we would be keeping it, even if Emery Park is decided to stay passive or we change it, whatever, we still need a better playground at Kent Commons. And we could do that with the money we have. At any year, we can put money into the capital funds. Granted, we're not going to get it for 5 years, but those of us who did this 7 years ago waited for this money to be available to do this. And to change it, you have to go to the town. And I'm not even sure of the rules, if you can just change it through the selectmen or if it has to go to a town meeting to change, I'm not exactly sure, but you can't just use it for something else.
Yeah, well then let's do it.
Pardon me?
If I have no window into what the money's allocated for
Mhm.
in terms of the specificity, if it's specifically allocated to a playground at Kent Common, sounds like that's great. And we should think about the landscape around these features so that people can use them, like the burrs that are around. So yeah, sounds great.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of having gotten the money and then having just been sitting there and not doing anything with it. I don't like that.
When we know our parks are in disrepair and really need an initial oomph, I also suggest that when the capital budget comes around in November, I think it is, that we look into getting something into that again, come up with some ideas on capital funding.
So I think I have a lot of experience in designing and building playgrounds. And I think at the very least, you want to do, and maybe, you can phase it if you want to replace the swings, that's fine, but we should do a plan.
Mhm.
We should do a plan. We should do the whole playground. And then where and how you're going to replace the swing. So we're not just putting the swings back, exactly where they're going, but we're making sure that we're doing our research and due diligence in good playground design and making sure that we have the space we need for safety considerations, fall zones, that kind of thing, and making sure it makes sense with the surrounding landscape elements that we already have, tennis courts, pavilion. So I think it would be great, and I could certainly do it, would be doing a nice, pretty plan and of maybe the whole park. Not that we'd be changing the whole park, but just kind of showing the whole thing. And it's always great to, get, maybe we put it up on the website or something and try to get a little bit of public input on it.
Mhm.
Because that always kind of smooths the road when we're spending some money.
I
Love
like
it.
that idea.
I think that's great.
So Miranda, you're saying put some of the money in that budget towards planning.
Yeah, planning is great. I think, yeah, you want to do a plan. You want to sit down and you want to have somebody, landscape architect, look at it and design it and make sure that the playground that you want, even if you're just replacing the swings, you design the whole thing so you know where your swings are going when you know, if you're gonna do it in phases, especially, I would argue the whole playground needs to be replaced, but I mean, how many years is it going on? And, you just
Well-
want to make sure that all the elements of your playground, you meet your safety standards, because there's for different playground pieces that you're putting in, they have to be a specific distance from other pieces. So that if a kid falls off one piece, they don't hit their head on another piece of equipment. So you want to make sure you've got all your right distances and it's laid out how it should be.
I think that makes a lot of sense. I think it's better to plan than to just throw something up because you have money and then you have to move it later because it doesn't work with the master plan. If there's some planning, at least some planning that goes into it, at least you can fit it into the bigger picture later on.
Miranda, real quick, do we have to be compliant with ADA?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and it's a challenge. I mean, with the grades that you have at that park, that's a challenge.
I
And
think-
you're certainly not right now, but
Yeah, I think there's a lot of issues that need to be, the biggest one, again, is the drainage that need to be addressed, and to me, it just, I think we need to move forward with the master plan as soon as possible, but I think it's kind of pointless to just throw up a new playground without making sure that it's gonna fit into the picture later on. So, you know, if we can do a little planning beforehand, I think it can be very beneficial.
Couldn't agree with you more, Diane. And I think also whatever the drawings are that come from this planning, the town can use for many, many, many years. So even just having a good drawing of the park will enable us to start to think through how to use it and how to spend capital. So,
Right. I mean, just an
Use some of the
example of
capital.
the using the money is we're throwing fill in and it's already washing away from the
Yeah.
problem with the drainage. We don't have a maintenance person. There's weeds growing in the playground and things are overgrown and unfortunately, because John is laid up, but ideally, it probably shouldn't fall on his shoulders to be doing that work anyway. So
But we
planning
used to
is
have
key,
someone-
I think. Planning is key.
so could we use some of the capital to do a plan and then use
Not unless you
more
go and
of
have,
whatever we have left to buy a playground? Because really, we can't really inform our decision around a playground without a plan.
I agree. I agree with that.
And we can get an amazing playground because it's been thought through. Is that, Lynn, is that what we?
you'd have to go and get the usage changed.
Because right now it's earmarked for the
Playground
physical
equipment.
Playground equipment. Okay.
John, what do you think about it?
Well, I've got your answer for 8C, which is, we'll talk about it in a second after we get through the other stuff. But yeah, I've got your answer for you.
We can move on and bring some of this back up when we get down to the grant.
Okay.
Does that work?
Yep.
All right, so we'll move on to concert series and volunteers. We have Connie and Mike.
Yeah, I'll just start and then Connie, you can just take over. But so leaving last meeting, I said that I would join up with Connie to start moving things forward. One of the first things we did is we looked at what Leslie had sent Connie after the March meeting. And that's when we realized we had, as a commission, decided on a Thursday night And we'd also agreed on a list of potential dates and 500 per band. So we have arranged the bands and dates starting with this Thursday. There'll be a open date July 1st, but then it'll continue the next series of Thursdays. For this Thursday, we have Kate, Abigail, and myself from the commission as volunteers. We are going back to the 2019 format based on Connie had a event through the Land Trust earlier in June. And I don't want to speak for Connie, but I think she said that she felt that going back to the 2019 model of having cars park in a certain area and then walk in would be the best experience. And what am I leaving out, Connie?
I mean, I think that's good. I think that maybe, well, let's just say that in terms of making that decision, we had 60 cars. To be able to eliminate the need to do the Eventbrite registration, the check-in, the parking, we were needing about 8, maybe 10 volunteers for each concert, which, we might be able to do, but was becoming difficult, for the Lions Club to contribute, maybe 5 or more volunteers and all of the Kent Land Trust staff and, whoever from the commission could make it. So I think that given the state of things right now, with respect to the pandemic and the relative safety of being outside, the ability for people who are not vaccinated to not come or to distance themselves from others in a really large open field, that it just felt to us most appropriate to have a situation where people could park and walk in, and we're not checking people in or taking pre-registration. So, and that's kind of consistent from with what we were hearing from concert attendees when we did our concert earlier this month. People driving in didn't really want to stay in their cars. It ended up being a wicked hot day, so they kind of did. They didn't move around a ton, but I felt that people, didn't really see the reason to park in a designated spot and stay put. And all of our conversations last year about the difficulties of policing people and having volunteers, go up to community members and tell them what they can and can't do. It seemed better this way. So that's our format. I think we'll learn from the first concert, whether or not we're right. We do have that open date next Thursday. I tried to get another band to come in, but really struck out on all fronts, which is good news. It means that local bands are getting gigs again. So, but if anyone has ideas and there is a band that we could slot in there, it's easy enough to do.
Great.
So any questions? I want to thank Miranda for putting together the poster and then working with our program director, Melissa Chernisky, to, just to complete that and get it out. That was great. It came at just the right moment.
Melissa did a lot of the work, so. Thank you to
Nice.
her.
The big was good. I hope that you've all seen it.
We did.
It made me, that's what spurred me to want to hang these things up, get them out there in the
Okay.
world.
So just, for Kate, for you and Abigail and Mike for Thursday night, the weather looks great. We are going to start to park people at 5:30. I don't think it's going to be hugely crowded. They really never are, but we anticipate putting a Kent Lions person or a KLT staffer out on Route 7 to help direct traffic into the field. We will have another person in between, the two fields. So telling people the way that we're going to do it is we're going to park everyone on the field closest to town, but we'll park the cars to the backside of that and, away from where the musicians are playing. There is plenty of space. So we might need just help directing people to parking spaces. And then I just think it's a really good opportunity for you all to connect with the community by greeting them. The one other thing that we're doing is the Kent Land Trust has been heavily involved in helping out the food bank this summer. So we are going to do bring a non-perishable item, and not everyone will do that, but to the extent they do, they'll be giving that out in between the fields, not on Route 7 itself. We don't want to back up Route 7.
Any other questions? Anyone?
I wish I could be there this week. I'm gonna be away, but I will be there the following week. And I know the Lions Club, I got an email from Darlene. They're looking for volunteers also. And I told her the same thing. I said, be there next week, but. it's Thursday.
Diane, July 8th, not the 1st. I just want to clarify, we have a gap in our schedule because we were unable to find a band that was
Oh, that's
available.
this week. Okay, so next week. So I'll be there on the 8th.
Okay, yeah, great, thank you.
Likewise, I also will not be able to attend this week, unfortunately, but we'll definitely try to make the rest of the rest of the lineup if I can.
Connie, have you got enough vests for everybody?
I do, and also it will be light the entire time. So it will not be getting dark yet when the band finishes up and people leave. And that was deliberate because of the lack of lighting on that field. So, we even talked today at our staff meeting about whether or not it made sense to have flashlights, but flashlights will not be visible at 7:30 at this time of year.
Longest day.
So maybe this is not a question for right now, but we should show up, what do you think, like 5 earlier? What time?
Yeah, so I actually have a meeting right up until 5:30, but the rest of my staff will be there from 5 o'clock on, and the band usually comes early and sets up as well. So 5:10 certainly would be fine. Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you. No, good question. I meant to cover that.
July 8th at 5 o'clock. Got it on my
Correct.
calendar. Okay.
Any other questions for Connie or Michael? All right, thank you, Connie.
Thanks.
Yeah, I have one other thing,
Sure.
actually, just while I'm thinking of it. I think initially with Leslie, we were talking about getting porta johns, and she wanted to have one that was like ADA accessible. And we had a hard time trying to figure out like how to get one. We did have a porta john for our Memorial Day concert. And the problem is that you can either rent them for the season and they service them every week, which would make sense for us once our series of 4 weeks in a row or 5 weeks in a row kicks in. But if we rented it now, we would be paying, you pay like $250, maybe $300 each and every time. And I don't see lots of people using them. Is it okay with you if we do not rent a porta john for this time and just see if we run into any questions or problems?
You can always run up to Diane's house.
Ha ha ha. Yeah. If anyone from the commission or the volunteers want to use my bathroom, you are more than welcome. I don't know that I want to open it up to the public though. And I mean that too. I think it's okay. I think there's town bathrooms. Can they leave the town bathrooms open?
Or
Well,
Paco.
that's fine.
I mean,
They could go to Patco, and it really is only an hour and a half.
yeah. I think that's a big
So-
expense.
Yeah, I don't think it's unreasonable not to have one.
So I'm sorry, did you say, what had we done in the past?
Last year, we didn't do them. Last year was COVID, though. There was, very different situation. I don't remember Park and Rec doing them when it was over by town hall, but I also don't, the visitor center is much more convenient to that. And I don't remember whether or not town hall was open.
I almost
for
think it
people to-
was.
I think we just dealt with it, it's a
Mhm.
picnic out on it's not very
And-
long.
Yeah, and I think on the flyer it says, well, does it say that we don't have that? Yeah, no bathrooms. So I think,
It does
yeah,
say
Go pee before you get there.
Do they close the town bathrooms at 7 o'clock or something? Because I'm just thinking if someone really had to go that lives in, came from the town over or something. Paco has a bathroom also? They do. Yes, they do. That's right. Because, yep.
It's inside now.
Chris, the hot dog guy, tells me he uses, I asked him once, I said, what do you do when you have to go to the bathroom? He said, I go to Paco.
Why don't we see what we think?
Mhm.
And, if anything, maybe we would consider renting a seasonal one, beginning on July 8th, because at that point we have 5 weeks in a row.
yeah, I agree. And I think you can wait and kind of see what you hear from people too.
Mhm.
If there's a lot of complaining, then we'll see.
Agreed.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Do
Thank you,
people
everyone.
bring beer? Do they drink beer?
I think you can.
They might. Listen, I had a phone call. It was actually directed to me by the town. It was a phone call from somebody asking whether or not alcohol was allowed, and asking me if this was not the Park and Rec concert. This was the one that was just KLT for Memorial Day. Asking me if it was a don't ask, don't tell policy. To which I said, "Are you asking me?" That's sort of eyes in the face. So I reminded that person that, of course, they would be driving to the event. So I was assuming that they were asking for their passengers. And then also reminding the person that it is pack out anything that you pack in. So, reminding them that they do need to remove their garbage and should be thinking about that when they decide what to bring.
Right.
And that's how I
And
left
there's no porta potties.
And there's no.
Yeah, and,
porta-potties.
and one other thing that I said, and this is true about these events, is that they are for families. So, and that is all permutations of families, but to me that implies that concert goers would conduct themselves with appropriate decorum. And
Right.
so if you can fit what you want to do in all of that, it is not the same as walking down a street with an open container. It is private land. And that's where I'm going to leave that.
Thank you, Counselor.
Thank you. Sounds reasonable.
Yeah. All right. We all good on concerts? Thanks again,
All right,
Con.
I'm back, folks.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Really
Bye-bye.
appreciate doing this again this year. Take care.
Bye.
All right, we will move on to ASP, starting with pre-K eligibility. We have spoken about this a number of times. I know we've had a parent contact us. Like I said, we've been talking about it for a while. I think we pretty much determined that that is not something that we can do, but that leads us into how our wording is that Miranda pointed out, and how we, if we want to change wording, where was that? That was.
Yeah, so right now in the handbook, it says youngsters age 5 to 12. And then on the website, it says youngsters in grades kindergarten through 6 are eligible. So we just need to clean that up a little bit. And if we say kindergarten, we have to be careful with that, I think.
You
Can we
could,
say kindergarten and 5 years old? So then you get the maturity of a kindergartner and the age of a the right age.
I would suggest maybe saying something like currently in, or in, kindergarten through 6th grade in the current upcoming school year or in the current school year.
Mhm.
So that
So
way it
the-
doesn't fall
So
into
the pushback we're gonna, inevitably get is that the parents that the child is eligible for kindergarten based on state, whatever the state mandate is. But they have chosen to put their child in preschool.
So if it's current K through 6th graders, that means whatever year we're talking about, that child will be going into kindergarten. If the parents left them in preschool, that's not age. It doesn't matter if they're eligible, it's what grade they are actually in.
So just knowing how difficult it is to find childcare in this town, my perspective is to try to be as open as we possibly can and help as many people out as we can. So I know when we had this discussion, it was really about whether the kid was potty trained or not. And we were thinking about 3-year-olds, and that's too young. But one would assume by 5, that's no longer an issue. So I would vote for keeping it about age and less about grade to try to be more inclusive and help more parents out if we can.
Well, I think, for me, if we're trying to be more inclusive and if we say kindergarten eligible, then that would at least cover those, and it will be very few kids that are kindergarten eligible, but are in preschool. And it's going to be, 4-year-old for a very short amount of time. That's the basic of it.
Anyone else want to chime in on that?
What's our current staffing for next year's ASP?
Well, so that's another discussion point, but currently both of the counselors are leaving. So we are looking for staff. I don't think, if the language changed to kindergarten eligible and you picked up a couple kids in preschool, there wouldn't be enough of those kids to make, staffing needs change. I think there would be, I just don't think staffing would have to change for that, but.
Okay, and I was just thinking along the lines of if someone wasn't expecting a certain age there, that then, we're marketing it one way and then someone gets the job and it's like, oh, I didn't know kids this age would be there. But that's why I asked.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And I think I'll have to look at the job descriptions to see how we have phrased that, but I think it's probably kindergarten through whatever grade we say. But yeah, we should be consistent on the job description too.
Because it also seems like in the time I've been here that like it's a really important thing, like Abigail was saying, childcare. And the biggest hurdle for us so far, we had the one parent talk about trying to expand the ages, but we've also had a lot of turnover, it seems like, in the last couple of years. And so that seems like a bigger threat than anything else to me, just, having to, like Leslie had to jump in and cover, and then other people were covering for Leslie. And so just anything we can do to, shore up the staffing side is I think the most important.
Yeah, and I don't know. It seems like it's just the kind of position that there's going to be a lot of turnover. It's limited hours. It attracts a certain person who may not be looking to stay for a long, long time. You know what I mean? It's
Is it a crazy idea to do this in partnership with the library and maybe try to use staff that exists there to support this program? I'm just throwing that out there as, thinking about the staff, and that we do have a lot of turnover, and they have, I don't know what the situation is of staffing at the library. I'm not saying any different, but might be something.
Well, we need to make a decision on age group. You guys want to think about it and talk about it next month?
I think we should talk about it and figure it out.
Because it's a waterfall, and whatever we put as the age group has to go in the job description, and we have to get the people, I'm making a salad, so you're hearing that, but so that we can get staff, I think we probably want to resolve this now.
I think I'm gonna stick with my position on current K through 6th graders so that there's not questions. This one says my kid is eligible. Then the eligibility has to be written out. That child has to be 5 years old by the end of December, by December 31st of the year. I think we're inviting more questions instead of making it simpler. Maybe not easier, but simpler.
Yeah, I don't think it has to be hard. I think as long as we make sure we're consistent in the language. I do think this is something that wouldn't affect the program that much, and is kind of an olive branch to parents who are maybe in a difficult position with childcare. I also think it maybe puts, you're when you're putting your kid in kindergarten, you're trying to make the best decision for them. And if you're thinking, okay, am I going to put the kid in kindergarten just because I need a fuller day of coverage? And maybe that's, not the best fit for that child, but that's just something to think about. And now if there is more options to extend a day a little bit, that might help.
Is it possible that you could say K through whatever and then say, and then make exceptions on a, just, if someone wants to, if someone does have a 5-year-old that's in pre-K, whoever.
I don't think you'd want to make an exception.
Right.
Case by case. I think you would just want to make sure your
Okay.
language
That
is
makes
rock
sense.
solid. You say, if whatever way you go, you either say kindergarten eligible, or you say,
Well,
you
is it going to
say-
be a problem with the child care if, say, there is a 5-year-old that's really immature and maybe is a handful compared to the other 5-year-olds?
I mean,
Do most of the time do they keep them back a year just because academically, it's a little harder for them. It's not necessarily,
Well, I think, you know, because the state of Connecticut has such a late cutoff, you know, a lot of states are September 1st. Connecticut is January 1. So you have a lot of kids, you know, my daughter is November 1st. You have a lot of parents trying to make that decision whether they should go to preschool or if they should go to kindergarten, even though they are eligible to go to kindergarten. I think parents are trying to make that decision. And I think maturity but it varies so much from child to child. You know, you could get a kindergartner, you could get a first grader who's immature. I don't, you know.
Yeah, when we had this discussion, it was about whether the kid was potty trained, because that's what we were talking about way back
Mhm.
when. I think 5-year-old, you know, when we're talking about maturity, I don't want to make any assumptions or make anybody feel lesser than, but I think broad strokes would be potty trained.
Yeah, and I think, you know, just to be perfectly clear, if the language is kindergarten eligible, then you could have a 4-year-old in the after school program for like 4 months, basically. If that makes sense.
well, it doesn't sound like it's really that much of a difference to just say kindergarten eligible as opposed to kindergarten. To me.
We'll just have to know that that will be time that someone's going to have to take to verify kindergarten eligibility.
I mean, how many kids are there? Like maybe 3 or 4 kids that might be still in 4s pre-K that are really kindergarten eligible.
Yeah, if that, there's probably not that many. I don't know the exact number, but I don't know.
And they're all potty trained by then, right? Right, isn't it by 3 usually?
I mean, again, every kid varies, but I generally, yes, but you know, you never know. But I think,
Could you say kindergarten eligible and potty trained? I mean, is that a lot?
I mean, you could, I think you know, you're gonna have it's gonna be such a rare case that
It's not even worth saying that. Well, I'm fine with kindergarten eligible as long as I mean, the people that were there, the workers that we had there working with the kids, they're on the ground level, they know, but I can't imagine why that would be a problem. I mean, it's a difference of a couple of months, really, in maturity or eligibility. Well, they
Make a
have to be
motion.
eligible, but you know, is
I think if you don't put your kid in if you have a 5-year-old that's eligible for kindergarten and you keep them, you know, you don't enter them into kindergarten yet, there's a reason. And that child now has 9 more months to get to that level. I still say we stick with current grades 6, K through 6.
I'd like to have it be kindergarten eligible so we can open the program up to a little bit more people. Just people need the help.
I think I agree. I can't imagine it would make all that much of a difference, and it might help a couple of people. And it's only a couple.
think.
I mean, if you really get a kid that's a problem, couldn't you then, make that an issue and say that we can't for one, I just imagine if the school is able to handle the kid, I don't know why we wouldn't be able to handle them in the after-school program.
I think you have to be prepared to handle all the kids. Yeah, and though I guess it's never come up, but
I guess it could, yeah.
I mean, we've never had anyone with a child with special needs, but I guess it could happen. I don't, obviously we're
That's why I said
inclusive.
it would be nice to be able to say kindergarten and possible exception will be made if the child is kindergarten eligible, but I guess then you're opening yourself up to making that decision and
Yeah.
an unhappy parent with a decision that they don't like.
I mean, I think you can't. I don't think we can put ourselves in that position to make an exception like that. I think you just have to be prepared. And I think, the school has resources. I don't know. I think
So if they're
we
saying,
could, I mean, even the thing with the special needs is that we could get somebody with special needs that was not in preschool or kindergarten. I mean, are we prepared for that? It seems like we would have to be. Lynn, do you know if we've ever had a child with special needs in the program?
I can't say yes or no. I don't think that, it depends on the degree you're talking about. Like physically handicapped child, I don't think we've had them. But special needs covers a broad range of things, so I don't know those details of any of the children. So if we're gonna decide this tonight, then we need a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to change the language to be inclusive of kindergarten eligible for the after-school program.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Aye. Only for the reason that I think we should just go with current K through 6. Is there anybody that I missed? All right. Miranda, don't send that out until after you change things, make sure you bring it back to us.
Okay.
Okay. There was also something in there, I had this up, about the 16 and 20.
Yeah. Oh, are you talking about the handbook?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that was 16 was last year that was something to do with COVID, and it was for the Office of Early Childhood had that requirement, but it is not applicable anymore. So I spent some time talking with that office, and because of the type of program we are, it's run by a municipality, it's in the school, we don't require a license. So there's no real, obviously we want to follow some guidelines, but we're not, legally obligated to follow exactly what, because we're not required to have a license. So 16 is not the cap anymore. I pulled that 20 number from after school program. I think it was Office of Early Childhood Development. Something they had written and like an early childhood endorsement, but again, we don't necessarily need to follow that. So that was just something I had put in there. So It's kind of up to us what we want to cap it at.
So isn't there a counselor to child ratio of 8 to 1?
That was with that 16.
That's not a
Good point.
COVID thing. That's always.
No, I don't think, in the thing that I asked her about that, and we're
Same thing
not,
with Emery Park. They have an 8 to 1 ratio.
yeah, but I think that's, I'm under the impression that that's different than this scenario. I mean, I asked her specifically about all these things, and she said, you know, these are just guidelines. We're not needing to follow that. And the ratio in that early childhood document is 1 to 10.
Okay.
So
Is that 8? There's certain ages under that criteria too. Of 1 to 10. I believe. It might be like 5 and under, it's different. But we've always carried an 8 to 1 ratio.
and that's certainly, we can keep that. We can certainly keep that. It's really up to you. But then you would probably want to cap it at 16, obviously, because that just makes sense. And I included the monthly, I think I put the monthly report in here. It shows the ASP numbers. And you know, they're definitely lower this year, but I think that's to be expected. So it's hard to kind of get a gauge on what the numbers will be like going into next year.
When do they sign up for it? In the summer, in the late summer? Or is
I
it
mean,
sort of like an ongoing thing? I know some
it's
people.
kind of
use
an
it
ongoing
occasionally.
thing, and you can register whenever. They have to sign up. You know, our requirement is that they sign up by the morning of. It's like 7 a.m. by that morning. But they do need to register their child beforehand. They have to fill out all the forms. And that goes in a binder that goes with the program. So we should get these documents updated so that all the forms are updated and so that parents can fill everything out and get registered.
All right, if you could fix those things on the handbook.
Yeah, are we okay with that, those numbers, 20, or do we want to stick with the 16? What's the,
Since I don't think we have more than 16 at a time, even previously.
yeah, I mean, from when I've filled in and I've, you know, obviously I'm looking at the numbers all the time. I think the closest we ever got was maybe 12, but again, it's kind of a weird year. And I do know that they're expecting more kids in the school next year in general. So I don't know.
I would personally say to stay at 16. All right, nobody else has an opinion on that.
No, I'm sorry, Lynn, why leave it at 16? Because
Because
Number
we're
of
getting.
employees.
of staffing?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then you have 16 kids out in the playground. It's not so bad when you have them all inside the school. Or if, you know, one kid has to go in and use the bathroom or something, then one of the
Oh, no, yeah, no, I hear you.
instructors have to leave, the counselors have to leave with that child and bring them in,
Yep.
and then you have one
Yep.
instructor out there with 15 kids.
If you find that the demand goes up because a lot of parents are going back to work or something, we could always look into hiring another person, a third person.
Right.
We should probably
Or-
keep it at 16.
I agree. I mean, I think so much of this depends on staff, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, and there's always the, you know, obviously you want it to make sense money wise, when you want to make sure you're not exceeding your budget, or that you've got the right number of staff for the kids. So.
Yeah,
and
we
since we
couldn't,
can't-
sorry.
Sounds
And
like
so-
right now 16 is a high number for what you had, so it makes sense to stay at that, I think. If you had 12 at the most before.
Yeah, I think it's safe, conservative at this point, say 16. And then we have to adapt if need be, right?
We could, like, if Miranda's saying that those age limits that, the 5 through 11 or whatever it is can have a 10-to-1 ratio, then yeah, if we need it, we can go up and let 4 more kids into the program without having to hire another counselor. And on the end of that, like she said, with the budget, if we were going to hire another counselor, we don't have those funds available in our budget right now, in our upcoming budget. We'd have to put that in the 22-23 budget.
Right.
And I think that the survey that Miranda's outlined is also a great way to get a pulse from the community of their interest in the program, which might also help us plan for the year.
In my tiny little office, and I'm sweating. Open the window.
And I don't know, as far as level of importance goes, as we get on here in the night, we could always reconvene on the survey too. I think it would be a good tool to kind of reach out to the parents, but if we need to think about it a little bit more.
It's almost like there's 2 different surveys here. One to gauge newbies or incomers or things like that, and one to the people that have been part of it, to ask how they're doing.
Mhm.
I agree, Lynn. I think this like customer satisfaction survey that's embedded in here for the parents that have been using the program.
Mhm.
We should that would be great to get this intel from them so we can think about the program more if it needs to change at all. And I don't know if there's, I don't know where it stands with figuring out who's going to be at KCS next year. If there's like a cutoff, I don't think there's a cutoff date, but when it would be most opportune to send the survey out to all KCS parents to solicit their interest in using the program. But that might be maybe something closer to August when their heads are back in thinking about school space. But 2 really useful surveys that we should do.
Anything else on the survey or the pre-K eligibility?
No, I
And
think it's a
just-
good idea, though. I think the survey is a good idea also.
Morning program, do we have any discussion on that?
I will just say I put this in here only because I reached out because I imagine that if Kent Educators, they used to do something, and if they're not doing it, I imagine we're going to get some emails about that. So I reached out to see what they're planning, and I emailed and I called and I have not heard back. So that's all I've really got on that.
Could you say that in the beginning, you said that they used to do it?
I think they used to have a morning program.
Who?
Yeah, that's right.
The Kent Education Center and Nursery School.
Oh, yeah. They had, for little kids, younger kids. I
Yeah,
think.
Kent Center School didn't do a morning program.
no,
No.
Oh, okay.
I was like, I don't remember that one, but
No.
they did, the only thing they did for early, and they actually a few years ago made it more difficult because you used to be able to drop off at like 8 or 8:05, and the school started at 8:30 or whatever. You had like 25 minutes, and now they give you like 10 minutes to drop your kid off before they're considered late. But they used to have, I think it was once a week, and they had exercise class. So you come down early and they did walks around the field and stuff with the gym teacher, I think was involved, maybe some other teachers. But other than that, they just started doing the breakfasts a year or so ago.
Yeah, early drop off is huge. I'm surprised that be great if Kent Center School could offer that. I don't know whether that's in our,
Yeah, the impression that I get from the school is that, you know, if, as far as the after school program goes, if we didn't do it, there just wouldn't be one.
Right.
yeah.
And so,
That is true.
and, you know, like to Lynn's point, again, with the morning program, like budgeting, I'm not sure it's, you know, it's in the cards for us, even if there was a real need for it. But maybe in future years, I don't know.
We'll have to see what this new year brings with all the people that have moved into town. We don't really know what to expect from this school. I mean, they were under 200 students. Is that right? I don't know how many have come in the last year or
Yeah,
so.
it sounds like they're expecting larger number. I know the incoming kindergarten class this year is big.
What is big?
I think around 30 is what Michelle had said.
Like the old times.
That's so awesome, though. That's great news.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
I would also
That's
suspect a lot of
incredible.
those
That's
parents
like
are. I'm
Almost
sorry.
twice the amount, twice the size of the kindergarten this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yay, people.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
who knows what happens over the summer, but yeah.
All right. Any more discussion on that? Let's move on to Slamma Jamma.
Sorry, Lynn, I
Oh,
was just
yep.
delayed trying to get out my muted.
Okay.
I think that if we're going to consider the morning, we should just add it into the survey to solicit interest and see. You know, I think it's the right direction, the right move potentially, but if it's, I don't know enough to make a decision about it, but maybe if we get more input from the community, that can inform our decision.
I would talk to Michelle about that because that means somebody has to be at the school to open it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Seems to
Definitely.
me, yeah, sounds to me like that's a Kent Center School thing. They should, that's something they hopefully could offer the town. I don't know that it's a Kent's Parks and Rec. Doesn't sound to me like that's our. It would just seems to me very complicated for us to do that on. Be so easy for them.
Yeah. Staffing is just an issue, always. All set on the ASP?
Let me just look at my. Yes.
Are we talking about the job description or the you added to the itinerary or to the agenda, Miranda, the two
Oh,
documents?
right.
Can we talk about those right now, or is that?
Yeah, we should. Because I want
I
to
have a
post
couple
those as
quick
soon as
notes on that.
What are we talking about?
The
there was the-
descriptions for the jobs.
That's in your director's report, correct?
Yes, and so I sent an email out just before the meeting that had the two attached. The one I just pulled these directly from a previous year, so I didn't change anything as far as age or anything with the job descriptions.
I guess my questions are, do we do background checks? I know this is something we discussed, and do we do drug tests? And if so, we probably want to include that in the description. It's not really clear on the leadership team member what that means. Is this person expected to manage other people? Because seems like there's two different types of roles, and who are these people reporting to? So I just think there's just a little lack of clarity in some of the language. It'd be helpful to clarify. And I don't know.
Yeah,
the
and I
answers to
think
those questions.
definitely background checks. I have not heard anything about drug tests for any of these, but I don't know. I don't know, Lynn, if you know anything about that.
I don't think we do drug tests except if you have the CDL, but I'm not sure. I don't think regular employees do, or maybe, I don't really know. The town crew does. They're driving. All right, so these two these are both the ones that we used before.
I think so. I pulled them from an old file. Well, the most recent files I could find that
Okay.
were.
All right, so we gotta change the year.
Yeah, yeah. One of them.
Anybody have any questions on these?
No, I don't.
Do we want to put them out now?
Yeah, I think the sooner we can. Well, I think it's a little premature, but maybe mid-July.
Yeah,
People might say they'll take the job and then renege. They get something better. Too soon, too close. This is the type of thing that I think moving forward would be great to have the director make decisions on. These meetings get
Yeah.
really long, and these are this is like really in the weeds.
well, she needs to be tasked with it by us. We are the,
Yeah.
no,
This is
that's
why
not
I'd like to think through our role a bit.
yeah, it's not a director's direct thing. It needs to be approved by the board.
Yeah, this is why I'd like to review the role we have, because I think thinking about programs and things like that, better use of our time.
All right, we can read through these and be prepared to task her with sending them out next month or give her a date when to send them out. You understand that we're the director's boss, right?
Yeah, I honestly think the role of this commission needs to really be rethought, because we create a logjam of making progress. We're really in the weeds, and we don't enable the director to move things forward in a timely manner. So, there's so many details that this group, I think, it's a group of volunteers that are speaking on behalf of the town and trying to think through programming. It's just, I understand. That's why I'd like to try to rethink our role. But yeah, I think we should send these out mid-July. but they need some editing. They need some clarity. Miranda, do you want to add some clarity about who they report to, whether they're managing people, and background check probably would be good.
Okay.
But again, like,
Yeah.
just one person.
So I'm gonna have so Darlene, before I had sent this to Lynn, I had sent one of the job ads to her, so I'm gonna have to have her pull it. But I'll have her pull it. I don't think we've had any applications. And then we can revise and do what we need to do and put it back up in July.
All right. We good there?
I'm sorry?
Are we all set? Everybody all set? Okay.
Yep.
Move on to Slamma Jamma.
Slamma Jamma. Yeah, so it's pretty cut and dry, really. You guys, unfortunately, KCS gym is not available. Kent School is the only gym in a reasonable distance that is available, and they're going to charge us for it. So just need to decide whether we're comfortable with the higher tuition for or I don't know if I call it tuition, but higher amount for the camp.
Is this the same fee his fee, not with the addition? His fee is the same? You know?
His fee is $175.
Right, but has that changed from previous years?
Doesn't sound like it, not too much.
Okay, I don't remember what it was.
And he is proposing to do it from 9 to 2. I think in previous years, we had done it like 9 to 3 maybe, but because kids, I think, will still be required to wear masks, he thought a less time maybe.
Is there any way that, is there any money that we can subsidize this so the price can come down, considering the 50-hour gym rental?
Unfortunately, it's not, it's not, because it's happening in the new fiscal year, I can't make the call, but it's not like it's happening this past one where we have a little extra money in the budget. It's hard to say.
It'd be wonderful if we could, since we want to try to offer people programs, especially after last year where no one had anything that they could do during the summer.
How did you figure out the increase? Did you figure 5 hours at $50 or did you add some extra time in there?
Nope, 5 hours at $50. And then, so said 20 kids to run the camp. So that's my that's my higher number when you add in the gym fee. So that's the 237 if you only had 20 kids.
Okay.
But then he said, I think they ran it with 30 or 32 kids is like the max. So that's that would be the lower number, but it's hard because you don't know how many you're going to get. I mean, hopefully I have had a couple of people call me about it. So hopefully we get the full registration, but we just don't know. So
It was always pretty successful. It filled
yeah,
up.
it seems like it is a popular program.
Mhm.
Yeah, basketball is really popular. So I think we should definitely go for it.
So the other thing that we would need to decide is the dates. I think we could do it either. I talked with the Kent School. They said we can either the last week in July or the first week in August. And my just kind of not really based on anything, but kind of gut reaction is that a lot of families go on vacation in August, so maybe that last week in July is better, but again, that's not really based on any actual facts.
What are facts?
I would suggest the last week, but I'm just like, we can't give them a real price.
That's the tricky bit. Yeah, you kind of, I don't know if you just kind of pick in the middle and hope. I don't know.
Well, I think we'd have to subsidize it if, we're gonna have to subsidize it if we don't get the campers, and we're not gonna. I think we have to give a flat fee to advertise for the camp, and
Right.
I don't know. I think you want to give the lower number and find a way to subsidize it if we can. I don't know if that's something we have to go to the Board of Selectmen to ask for, but I don't know. It seems like it's something that we want to be doing, offering the camp for as little as possible. So $214 is probably the lowest it's going to go. Or we do 220.
Yeah, I'm just kind of trying to.
If we charge $225 at 20 people. And we subsidize $250. Or we would need to subsidize $250. But
250 total, you're saying?
is this one of our fee things? Like, don't we collect 10% off of this?
Yes,
So
yeah.
that's kind of moving that point.
So the 175. It's 175, and I'm pretty sure that includes, when I spoke with him, he understood that that included our 10%.
So that's 3,500. So we would get 350 to subsidize 250. So we'd make $100.
Well, I think we're not looking to make money.
Right,
Right.
I agree.
So whatever the percentage is that we get, we should just be we should try to put back. I'd like to propose that we try to put back into the camp to bring the cost down.
Have a big pizza party at the end or something if you had if you made money.
Well, we don't want to lose money either. I mean,
Throw it away.
we do have an expected revenue that we should be making to cover our expected costs to a certain point. Miranda, do you know what we charged in the previous years that we've did this? Have you had a chance to look back at other years?
Well, according to, I don't know specifically past, but according to Barbara, for fee programs, which she said this falls under, we typically charge 10%.
We charged them 10%, but what did we charge campers 175?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know the answer to that, but I can certainly look. So I will say, I think if we want to market this and get as many kids as we can, we should, unless we want to call a special meeting, we should try to figure it out.
So the problem is we've never had to pay for a gym before.
Right.
So if somebody, there's a couple different ways we could do this. We could have people sign up, but you have to give them a number. So
Right.
225 is about in the middle of your two high and low numbers. And if the 175 includes, we take 10% off of the 175, then like I said, out of 20 kids, that's 3,500, 10% is 350. We're gonna put in 250. We're still clearing 100. If there's more than 20 kids, you clear a little bit more. I know it's not about the money, but it's not about losing money either so much,
Right. No, that makes sense.
I don't know how anybody feels about that.
I like that idea. Plus, it's probably a nicer basketball court than the one at Kent Center School, so maybe you can feel good about that.
Usually it's at South Kent School.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I contacted South Kent and they are unavailable, so.
So if you guys are for that, someone can make a motion to do Slamma Jamma basketball on the week of the July week, 26 through 30, I think it was, for a fee of $225. Keep that motion, change it, whatever. Somebody do something.
Motion for a Slamma Jamma basketball camp for the last week of July at $225 per camper.
All right, thank you. Can I have a second?
Second,
Thank you, Diane. Any discussion? Okay. Hearing none. All those in favor say aye, please.
aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Cool. Motion carries. Thank you. All right, let's move on to USTA Tennis in the Parks program. Michael, did you want to talk about that?
Yes, so we had a Zoom meeting with two members of USTA New England to check in to see if they could help with the July clinic. And we found out that they have these tennis in the park programs for youth and for adults. They are 6-week programs. It's a one-time cost of $55 for youth, $65 for adults, and they pay the coaches, and they also provide the curriculum to the coaches, and then they provide a tennis racket to the participants. So a lot of value and a lot of expertise. Basically, what we would like to know is, since to sign up for a fall program, we would need to enroll our town by the end of July. We would like permission, I guess, to kind of push forward on this.
Mike, just to clarify, we don't need a coach to be onboarded by USTA, correct?
Correct.
I don't see a downside.
Right.
I think with your classes too, we'll be able to gauge tennis interest.
Hmm.
And for what it's worth, someone commented on the Facebook post and asked if we were going to run any adult tennis clinics. So
if we join by the end of July, when would the clinic be?
It would start after Labor Day.
Okay.
And then we would still need to figure out the day of the week and time, it's et cetera.
Can I have a motion to allow Michael to look into this further? Is that the right word? Whatever.
I think it's a motion to sign the town up for this. Yes, Mike, is that what,
Yes.
Michael, is that what you're, yeah. I'd like to make a motion to sign the town up with USTA Tennis in the Park.
Can I have a second, please?
Second,
Diane, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay,
Thank you, Michael and Julia, for researching this, and
And Michael, I'm sorry I
that
didn't
is
put
awesome.
your name on the memo. I feel bad.
No, that's
I'm sorry-
fine. Yeah. But Julia has done more of the legwork, to be clear. So she's gonna definitely be excited. So yeah, thank you, Julia and absentia.
Halloween bash. I just wanted to put this on there to start getting it in there and move it back up to, see what we want to do this year, if we want to go back to the community house, or hopefully it'll be open. I don't even know if it's open yet. Or see if David will allow us to do the club again, which was really cool. So if y'all just want to keep that in mind, think about that. Michael, I'm hoping you're going to work with me again.
Looking forward to it.
So we don't really need to discuss anything on that now. Just like I said, heads up, we'll be talking about that in the next couple of months.
I can't believe we're there again.
I
But
know.
great, but wow, that went fast.
Summer's not over yet. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
I know, so we're just beginning. We gotta talk about this stuff. We'll move on to the steep grants. And before I say that, I signed us up for 3 hours on this. I don't know if it shuts us off at 3 hours or it keeps going. I'm not that familiar with this thing, the Zoom meetings. So can you do it in a half an hour, John?
Less than that. You ready? So last year, towards November, we found out that we missed out on a great opportunity. It was called STEEP grants, which is basically small town economic assistance programs. And we've been trying to get these grants and loans for a long time. And last year they handed out tons of money. There was no basic amounts that you had to have to qualify. Kent is eligible to qualify according to the list, but we should reach out to get this. Last year there was one town that had only $1,500 and they got $150,000 in grant money. So we should reach out and try and get some of this money really quickly. I have information here. The director is Eric at Scoville at ct.gov. And I'll give you his phone number, 860-685-8195. And this is a great program. It's not going to cost you anything. You're going to get more money back than you put in. It's something to think about for all the things that we have to do to try and bring these programs back up to normal.
I can certainly,
It's a tied to capital projects, right?
Sorry?
So planning is not something that we can get a grant for.
You can put it in there and try it. I saw the list is tremendous. Some of these towns got it for planning. Some of them got it for sidewalks for free. It's amazing the amount of money that was available last year. But I would definitely talk to this guy, Eric Scoville, see what's available. And it took Leslie and I probably 2 hours to fill out the forms and everything the last 3 years. And it's really easy. And they're willing to give out all this tons of money because they have it laying around doing nothing. Miranda, what were you going to say?
I was just saying I can certainly do some research on this and figure out what we need to do.
Yeah, the money's there for you.
If there's, all right, I'm looking at the thing right now.
Do you see it?
Yeah. Okay, well, I think I probably just need to kind of immerse myself in it and figure out what what deadlines there are. what the requirements are, and I can come back to the next meeting with all that information.
Fantastic.
And again, work with John because he's done it with Leslie a number of times.
Sure. Have we ever gotten any money for that?
No, because you know why? We were trying to be, well, we were trying to be, we didn't want to ask for too much money. So we only put in for like seed money. And unfortunately, we got bypassed the whole time for 3 years. While these other towns put in for the full amounts and didn't have anything in the bank for themselves. So
Okay.
they got all that money. So, I mean, one of the local towns only put like in $1,500 last year, and they got a grant for $250,000.
Do you get the impression it's, you know, based on economical, like, is it for towns that are a little bit depressed or?
No, they give you a whole list, and Kent's been on there for the last 5 years.
Okay.
Okay. The only thing the money doesn't go to is big cities.
Yep. Cool. Well, I will do my research on that.
I don't know if we need a motion for that, but it's always safe than sorry. When we make decisions, we should have motions, and again, it's better to have one than not. So if somebody could just call that quickly, please.
I make a motion that we investigate the steep grants available through the state of Connecticut under a economic assistance program.
And apply. Second, thank you. That was Michael. All those or any discussion, further discussion? All those in favor, say aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Okay, then interim director's report.
There's really not a whole lot that we haven't discussed on this already. The one, I think, you know, I sent the contract to the fence repair guys for Emery Park and Kent Commons. I've emailed them a couple of times about schedule. I have not heard back, but as John said, he's been on vacation, so hopefully we'll hear back on that in the next few days. I am for ASP, I've sent out the final billing. I'm gonna have to kind of push some of the families who are behind to pay their balances. They're supposed to pay their balance by the 26th, I think, because of the end of the fiscal year. So I sent out the final billing, and I will probably send out some reminders to people, and I may have to, I think typically if they carry a balance over 300, we're not supposed to let them back in the program. So there's that. So I'll be dealing with that. And
You may want to just put a little note if it's not already in there. If you're having trouble paying your bills, blah, 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 please reach out to the Kent Community Fund and social services to help. with that.
can they get scholarship like through the Kent Community Fund? Like, I know that they can, but can they do it without filing an application? Is it kind of like an emergency?
I don't know. I'm just saying, tell them these options are, you're just going to tell them these options are available if they're having trouble. You know, it's basically a blanket statement to everybody on an invoice, not just to,
Sure.
you know, because those are available. And, you know, I know there's other people that will help out if some people are really in a tough situation.
They can reach out to Leah Polaro, the social services person.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I know she helps people pay their rent, and things like that when so she's the person to talk to.
Kent Community Fund and social services for people having trouble. Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yep. And like I said, I will be out of the office 23rd through the 25th.
Okay.
Miranda, thank you for that email. It was very helpful and organized and helped me prepare for the meeting and probably everybody.
You're welcome. Yeah, I'll try to put memos together as much as I can.
Really helpful. Thank you.
All right.
I know people's lives are complicated. I just want to put one vote in for starting these meetings earlier, if possible.
We can put that on next month's agenda if you like.
Kate, do you mind forecast giving us a little window into what time you
Oh, gosh.
wish we could
Like,
think
I
about
mean,
it?
because if these are 3-hour meetings, yeah, if we could start at 5 or 6, that would
They're-
be,
I don't
That
know
would
why they're going
great.
so long.
Yeah, I'd love to remedy the length of these meetings if we can.
I don't know, and this is
Be
definitely for
productive.
further discussion. And obviously, I don't know. And it's probably not a problem all the time, but for the months that are busy, you know, I don't know, does it make sense to have 2 meetings in a month? I know a lot of places do it that way. Because then you're kind of splitting your agenda, but again, for a discussion another day, but.
Just a little note on that is that we make up meeting dates at the end of each year for the following year, and we have to approve them. So
Sure.
those are basically our meeting dates for the year. Anything else is considered a special meeting.
Okay,
but I do think it would be, yeah, to expedite things, like maybe at one meeting that's just about the budget, we could just bang that out. Things we could just sort of corner off certain topics for different meetings, and it might help to expedite things.
Yeah, it might eventually break us into committees.
Anyone have anything else they want to bring up or say? Okay, next Park and Rec Commission meeting is Monday, July 19th at 7 p.m. for now. We can adjourn this meeting at 9:40. Thank you, everyone. Have a good rest of the night.
all right, thank you.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night.